Hello everyone, my name is Mr. Hernandez and this is an update video intended for my Algebra 1 students. If you go to Uplift Luna and are not one of my Algebra 1 students, you can keep watching. There is a lot of information that will be relevant to you, but just so you know, a lot of what I'm going to be talking about in this video is specifically for the students that I teach. If you are one of my students, watching this video is part of one of your first assignments, and I'll explain more about that later. So here's a quick little overview of the things that we are going to be talking about. First thing we're going to cover is how to stay informed. There's a lot of information going out to you. I just want to make sure that you know where you can access some of this information. The second thing is going to be focusing on the Algebra 1 STAR, the Algebra 1 EOC. The third thing that we're going to be talking about is the remote learning plan. Distance learning, remote learning, you might have heard it different ways. But we're going to be talking about what that plan is and the expectations. The last thing that I'm going to talk to you about is just a message from me. We haven't had a chance to talk or check in ever since the beginning of this whole COVID-19 situation. So I want to have the opportunity to talk to you about what's going on specifically, just summarize all the things that I talked about in this videos and just give you my thoughts on how we are moving forward. So part number 1, how to stay informed. So there's a bunch of ways that the school has communicated to you and your families during this time. By now, you should have received phone calls from the school updating you on some of the changes that have been happening over the last 2 weeks. In addition to those phone calls, your parents should have received some sort of email updating you all on some of the same information. We also have a Facebook page. If you look up at Uplift Luna Secondary in Facebook, you'll be able to go to our school's page and read some of the updates that our school has been sending out to families. For students, you should have been receiving updates through a Remind. We have a 9th grade Remind that hopefully all students are a part of, and hopefully you have been receiving updates through that Remind. But the most important of all these is the COVID-19 website that our school has. If you go to www.uplifteducation/COVID-19HS, you'll be able to find all the information that our school has sent out, as well as some other things that I won't be covering in this video. So let's talk about that a little bit more. The information that I will be sharing can be found on the COVID-19 website. However, I will not be going over all the information on the COVID-19 website. Instead, I'm just going to be focusing on the information that is important for my Algebra 1 students specifically. If you aren't able to find something, or if you go through this video and there's still questions that you may have, I would highly recommend that you, first, check the website, and then second, send me an email. My email is down here as well. So if you aren't able to find something, please let me know and I'll do my best to help you out. Let's talk about the Algebra 1 EOC. So the Algebra 1 EOC is something that we've been preparing for the entire school year, essentially. In addition to learning algebra, the state of Texas also requires you to take this test that proves that you have learned the material necessary to be successful in the future in the rest of your math courses. Because of COVID-19, the state of Texas has had to cancel the tests that would have happened in the spring. So what does this mean for you? If you were scheduled to take the test for the first time this spring, you are exempted from having to take the test. What this means is that you don't have to worry about taking this test. Not now, not next year, not ever. The state of Texas considers that you have passed this test. That only applies for students who are taking this test for the first time. To be clear, for my 9th grade scholars, this applies to any STAR test that you would have taken this year, including Algebra 1. If you are a 9th, 10th, or 11th grade scholar and you were scheduled to retake a STAR EOC for a test you had previously failed, you will not have the opportunity to retake this test this year, and you will need to retake the exam next year. So again, if you were supposed to retake this test, you will still have to pass it. It just won't be this school year. You'll just have to take it another time. Now let's talk about remote learning and scholar expectations moving forward. All scholars are expected to engage in the remote learning enrichment activities we are providing online and to complete assignments each day of the week. Participation in the enrichment activities and submission of assignments to teachers will be factored into attendance and demonstration of learning. Even though we aren't in school, you are still going to be expected to complete and turn in assignments every day of the week. This table shows the classes that you will be expected to turn in work for, and it also shows when the assignments will be due. So as you can see, you'll be taking 5 classes. You'll be taking English, Math, Science, Humanities, and Spanish. The 90 minutes means that we expect you to do 90 minutes worth of work on each day. So in your case, it'll be my class, Algebra 1, on Mondays and Wednesdays for at least 90 minutes. This also means that on Monday and Wednesdays, you are expected to complete these assignments or they will be considered late. There are also a few things that you are expected to participate in on Friday, but you will hear more about that later. So now you know what classes you're going to be turning work in for. The next question is, well, how are you going to get that work? So let's talk about Schoology for a bit. We are using Schoology to host all courses offered by Uplift Luna High School during the extended break. All content will be posted by Sunday at 11:59 p.m. for the upcoming week. Scholars are expected to complete all of their daily work and submit it to their teachers by the end of the day as their attendance and credit for that day. Scholars that are unable to complete their work on a given day should reach out directly to their teachers for help. By now, you should have received some sort of phone call or some sort of instructions on how to sign into Schoology. Again, this is going to be the place where you will go to get any classwork for any of your classes. If you're having trouble logging in, please send me an email or a message on Remind, and I'll do my best to help you figure that out. So again, Schoology is going to be the place where you're going to receive all of your assignments as well as turn some assignments in for some of your classes. On the school website, you'll also find a recommended schedule for your classes. The times that you see here are suggestions. You do not necessarily have to complete the work during this time, but you are expected to complete it on this day. So for example, for Algebra 1, you will be completing assignments on Mondays and Wednesdays. Again, this is a recommendation. Some assignments might take you a little longer, some assignments might take you a little less time. However, the expectation is that you complete your assignments on that day. And as you can see at the end, there's also something called office hours, which is going to be the way that we're going to be doing tutoring. So let's talk about that for a little bit too. So we're going to be using an application called Zoom. All teachers offer virtual office hours twice a week for scholars to get additional support and enrichment during this time of remote learning. All the teachers that you will have to turn in assignments for will have some sort of office hours for you to check in and ask questions if you have some. If you've never used Zoom, I recommend that you download it, play around with it, call some of your friends, figure out how the app works. Again, this is going to be the main form of communication between us if you have any academic questions. I'm going to have my office hours every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 1 to 1:40. But again, the purpose of these Zoom meetings is for us to be able to offer you some sort of academic support during this time. Now, the last part. The last thing I want to do is just give you my thoughts on this whole situation. I just want to talk to you as Mr. Hernandez to you, my Algebra 1 student. I'm going to be honest. I've tried doing this part over and over and over and over again, and I keep messing up. So instead, I'm just going to read to you what I wrote a few days ago. This is just something that I want to get off my chest, that I want to share with you. So here it goes. I cannot force you to do this. I can't go to your house and push you and force you to get on your laptop and do these assignments. All I can share with you is that it is vital for you to step up in a moment like this. I don't know how many of you are paying attention to everything that's going on around the world. I'm sure that the main focus of what you know is COVID-19, aka the coronavirus, but there's so much more happening alongside that. Many of you are too young to realize this, but everything that is happening right now will have a huge impact on your life. The coronavirus will not be here forever, but the impact that it will have will be felt for years, if not longer. I've asked you these questions many times in class, but here it is again. How are you going to change the world? How do you want to make the world a better place? You do not have to know the answers to these questions yet, but you do need to do your part to prepare for when that day comes. You need to be equipped with the knowledge and the skills to do your part to change the world. Although I might not be able to look you in the eye and tell you this in person, please know that I'm thinking about every single one of you and that I am expecting greatness from all of you. I expect you to do everything that you can to continue learning. It won't be easy. I know this whole online learning thing that we are about to start will take some time to get used to, but we'll figure it out. We'll continue to learn. We'll continue to prepare ourselves so we can have a meaningful impact on the world. Your education is that important. Again, I can't force you to do this, but I expect you to do this. I expect you to work. It might be online, but I'm still here. I still expect the best from you.